Hello everyone, my name is Jesse and this is my COM205 policy critique for assessment 3. The policy I've chosen comes from the Australian Competition and Consumer Commission. It is important that I've chosen this specific policy because it illustrates the need for consumer consumerism and all its different aspects demanding a form of global governance or regulation. The central idea of the policy is for digital media, social media, search engines, digital aggregators. It's the impact of those on consumerism within a social context of everyday society. If we are to understand consumerism and in all its platforms, we may be able to develop a strategy that combats areas that need an immediate form of regulation. A bit of background about the ACC and the policy itself. The policies were created to protect the rights of consumers, and they were enforced through the main part of the organisation, which is the Competition and Consumer Act of 2010, which promotes fair trading, competition and provision of consumer protection in Australia. The ACC policy itself that I'm looking at illustrates how digital media impacts upon journalism and different types of news media. In conducting this process, the ACC directly gathered information from participants in surveys and focus groups and that kind of thing. And its preliminary report, which I am drawing from, was published in December 2018 and was the basis of various other similar reports around Australia and the world, which led to very similar conclusions as seen by the ACC. My critique specifically pertains to Chapter 6, as it is in the context of previous other works that I have done. The chapter identifies a solution and addresses possible consequences of journalism being affected by digital media, but this is a bit flawed. It fails to identify a broader spectrum of digital media related issues, such as, for instance, the ownership and publication of media content and platforms, and things like digital literacy and how they are used to navigate social media outlets. The central position of the ACC on this issue fails to draw upon a variety of sources coming from a range of academics to further back up its main proposition, and which puts into question its credibility and bias. It fails to also integrate media organisations and education systems within its proposed solution. And it fails again to work in accordance with other academics. The ideas posed by the ACC surrounding journalism and news media has already can be adapted to an already existing framework, the limited portion which they did, and this, in any case, is best illustrated by Lunt and Livingston, which provide a traditional model for regulation, with the three main aspects being goal, feedback, and realignment components. The goal refers to the laws enforced by the government. Feedback refers to a group of regulators who observe the media practice. And lastly, realignment refers to the imposing consequences for a failure to comply with the policies around regulation of content. If these policies are implemented, they will help to identify areas which need people to be most regulated, and it will improve accordingly. In conclusion, deciphering the content by the ACC helps to gain further understanding as to why consumption of media needs a form of regulation, and this is the central idea of the whole research task that I've been chosen. They have addressed a significant need for to protect the rights of those who consume media. And if these policies are conceptualised and integrated with classical frameworks that were instituted by London Limited and the like, news media will become solely embedded in fact and truth, and it will be without bias, and consumers will be free to acquire knowledge and make their own judgment. And if this policy is coupled with education and media literacy, eventually regulation of any description may become obsolete. So thank you.